Welcome, everybody, to the Alpha Brew Show. What's going on? Happy International Man's Butt Hurt Day for everybody. For all you all that celebrated International Women's Day last night, God love you. I ain't doing it. I ain't getting down like that, but I know some people do, and it's all good. Josh, you butt hurt today?
Every day. I'm just trying to fit in society. Yeah, I'll find something.
So, hey, guys, just to let you know, Jason, you did send me that joke, but it's fucking Deadpool, man. Come on, dude. I mean, I know Deadpool's your guy. I get it.
My daughter showed me that. She goes, "What is this?"
Oh, yeah, from the Alpha Bro Show
Yeah,
on
I was
Instagram.
I was like, oh, it's from
Should be
Deadpool.
following.
Yeah, that's from Deadpool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like, I think I don't even know if anybody knew International Women's Day. Honestly, like, I don't even think a lot of women did, and until Deadpool, now fucking everybody knows it. So, hey guys, Josh and I, you're gonna totally shit when we tell you this. We had some technical issues right before we went live again.
Still,
so let us know how we sound. If we're loud or whatever. Man, StreamYard, you're fucking pissing me off. It's just fucking fact of life. You're going to be my fucking nemesis. I can see it coming. But guys, we do want to welcome you to episode 5 of the Alpha Bro Show. Now, some of you have asked me, "Hey man, I've seen this Alpha Bro Show stuff you've been sharing. What's the deal?" Okay, so we're gonna try to fix this. Josh is echoing. All right.
Yeah, I'm getting it bad.
Okay, let's see.
Everything's set up.
Work some magic. Josh.
Yes. Still there.
Still echoing?
Yeah, I mean, just like half a second after I say something.
What about you guys? Can you still hear his echo?
Huge echo.
That was a minute ago.
Oh.
Josh has a lot of echo, really clear, but sounds like a stadium. Gotcha. So what we're gonna
I'm in a garage.
It's
no stadium.
Josh still has the echo. Okay, so echo cancellation did not work. StreamYard, FYI, fuckers.
Wonder why it's just me.
Shit sucks. Your shit sucks, StreamYard. What about now? Try to
Echo.
So Josh, just tell us a little story. Yes, still has.
Well, I'm not going to tell a story if it's echoing in everybody's ear. I can hear it. It's terrible.
Auto tune. He's auto tune. You auto tune it on us, Josh?
Yeah.
Travis said it makes him sound more dominant
Than Travis. Like,
so,
that's hard.
Josh, do you have echo cancellation on your microphone?
I got a mute.
Okay, don't hit that. That would be bad.
No, it's just got a gain, mute,
volume. Take your headphones off. Unplug your headphones.
How's that? Oh. How's that? Hang on.
Yep.
I'm still getting an echo, even with those off. Let me turn.
Through your computer.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Sorry, guys?
Still have an echo.
You may unplug this mic and
go with your.
Yeah. Here, let me unplug it real quick.
Try. We'll try it. Okay, yeah, now it's got you with no sound now. Yeah. Plug it back in.
How about now?
There you go.
That's still got an echo. It's got to be StreamYard. It's none of our.
I agree.
Yeah, because this is unplugged.
So your mic's unplugged and you're going straight off of your whatchamacallit right now?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on. What about now? What about now, guys?
Echo,
Josh?
echo, echo. It's real low. It's not as dominant.
It's not as dominant.
No, it's not near as loud.
He's still echo without the mic. So, go, Josh, go ahead and plug your mic back in. So strange. You suck, StreamYard. You suck. You suck. You suck.
Hello. That was me echoing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Scott says
That's
it's not as bad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's bearable.
Fixed. Oh, Audrey says it's fixed.
She probably just couldn't hear the echo. It's real low. Yeah, I can still hear it. Echo. Hear it.
What do you think, guys? Jason says it's fixed.
All right, fuck it. Let's do it.
Word.
We're going to try to do an hour show, but obviously that's turning
5 more minutes,
something.
and we're going to recreate the scene from Zoolander.
Who's that?
Thank
Travis
you for
King.
showing up, Travis. That was fucking awesome. And
Is that your tattoo guy?
So I have to say, so Travis and I were having, we were kind of instant messaging back and forth, and Travis said, "Man, I had a lot more I wanted to say. I just really suck at typing." So that was long. That was a long response. So I wonder how long we've been doing this shit for Travis to get that response through. All right. So let's do this shit. Okay. Welcome to the Alpha Bro Show, guys. Again, sorry. Like Josh said, we have not changed anything. My mic was not working. I was on, I have support with StreamYard. They're telling me to do all this shit. None of it's working. And I finally said, "Thanks for nothing, fucker," and fucking signed off of them. And then I ended up fixing it myself right before, 5 minutes before we go live. And then Josh, I bring Josh in the studio, and Josh is like, "Fuck, I got to echo my fucking headset. What's going on?" Don't know, guys. We're working it out. Trust me. It took me 5 minutes to type it. I bet it did, Trav. I really do. Again, guys, thank you so much for bearing with us. I hope the last 2 shows have been good, right, Josh? We haven't had any issues at all. I feel like there was an update or something.
We had
your
axe.
What's up, brother?
We had your axe fall off the wall, and my kid get injured, but
Dude,
yeah, other than that.
Yeah. Well, we went 2.5 hours too, so we're not going to do that to you tonight. Hopefully, we will keep it more brief. But so welcome to the show, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Real quick, any good firehouse starts this day with a little bit of house cleaning. I'm going to house clean just for a second. All right. Guys, follow social media links. We'd really appreciate that. Instagram, Facebook, okay? And obviously, I am streaming live on Facebook right now, so that's a great one to follow if you're going to follow any of them. I'm on YouTube and Twitch right now as well, and I can see through the chat you have, wherever you're watching at, it has the icon. So I see a lot of Facebook and Twitch, and some YouTube. Zach's on YouTube right now, so that's fantastic. Again, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you helping us get our audio fixed. So what is the Alpha Bro Show? Okay, I've been getting that question. So this is what Josh and I have kind of came up with. We do feel like there is an attack on masculinity. Men or boys, I should say, or adolescents. It feels like people are, not wanting you to be a man. All right. We disagree. We feel like it's vital if you're a male to be a man. Okay. And that's something you should be striving for. Now, when we talk about alpha characteristics, those aren't male specific. There are alpha females as well in the animal world and in our society. Okay, these are traits we feel like you should strive for. What the goal of this show is, and Josh and I were talking about this briefly before on the phone. What I want this show to be, I want it to be portable. And I was thinking about this on the way to the gym. So I want the show to be portable, and what I mean by that is I want us to have conversations here that you take home or to your workplace, okay, and something happens and you can unpack what is happening from a conversation that we had on the show. Okay, so to make it portable, make it usable, make it relatable to you. Okay, Josh, you got anything you want to add? I'm talking,
No.
man. I'm
Man, it's
caffeinated
good.
up. I'm motivated and caffeinated, baby. I'm ready to fucking rock and roll.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it simple. No, man, you covered it all. Yeah, we're just trying to get some information out there, make people think, and hopefully make us think, and improve this podcast and our lives as well as your all's.
Yes. So, and Jason made a great point. Get your shit together so we can sub on Twitch. Okay, so really quick, because some people have asked me this. I'm going to make a video, guys. I promise. I'm going to make a video to explain this.
That was a monster.
what if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you get one free Twitch subscription. Okay, costs you nothing and gives Josh and I just a little bit for the show. Okay, but now to do that, I need to be affiliated on Twitch. My last show was affiliated on Twitch. We'll get there. Okay, Josh and I aren't even worried about being monetized right now. We have a message. We want you guys to buy into this message. All the other accolades and all that other shit, if there are ever any, they'll come. But Josh and I will tell you right now, some of the feedback that we've gotten from this show is enough. Like, that's enough for he and I. Like, there's been some really great comments come back, and you have no fucking idea how much we appreciate that. Like, it really, like, Josh and I have been like, damn, dog, what did we say? Thank you doesn't cover it.
Yeah.
So
surprising.
But I will say thank you, Josh. Josh feels the same way. So thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate that. So as Josh was saying just a minute ago, we're going to start a conversation, and we're all going to try to fucking evolve from it. Okay, and try to see both sides. And chat, that's where you come in. If Josh and I lean one way too much together, because Josh and I are like thinkers, we think alike. You guys bring us back, okay? And that's, again, the chat is always our third co-host, always. Okay, so you guys play an important part in this community. Okay, all right. So our hot topic of discussion is the publisher of some of the Dr. Seuss books is going to stop publication on 6 of these books, and it caused a media storm on the right as well as the left, I'll say. And so Josh and I did a little bit of research. We read some of these books. I actually watched 3 of the books on YouTube today, which was interesting. As the guys kind of rhyming and there's music in the background and the illustrations are playing.
Jim Carrey reads a lot of them,
man.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said Jim Carrey read a lot of them that I've seen.
Really?
I mean, the ones my kids' teachers, they have like all their books on there. This whole week has been, what is today? Tuesday. Yeah. Yesterday, I was going through there and seeing what their work was. A few of them are in elementary school, and it was all lined up, all Dr. Seuss books. Now, like none of the ones that were taken out of license and publication. But I just thought that was funny. Good for them. Whatever.
Yeah.
You watch your
book. Which book? That I'm glad you asked that, Jay. I'm glad you asked that because I have them right here. So there's 6 books were If I Ran the Zoo, and To Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street, which that was published in 1937.
That was his first book, I think.
Was that his first book?
I think so,
dude,
yeah.
That's damn near 90-something years ago. So, I mean, that's impressive.
It was Dr. Seuss Enterprises. They ceased publication, and someone made that.
The publisher's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
McEllett's Pool, On Beyond Zebra,
Beyonce?
Scrambled Egg Supper, The Cat's Quizzer. Those were the 6 books. Okay, so Jason said it wasn't actually the publisher. The estate is pulling him from the lineup.
Yeah, it's Dr. Seuss Enterprises. That's
Dr. Seuss Enterprises.
If you want to call that the estate, whatever. Yeah, they ceased all licensing and publication.
Okay.
So, and they're also not going to sell the books themselves.
Correct. Yes, that is correct.
I mean, yeah. So whatever.
So again, I some of the people that I follow online were, censorship, blah, 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 blah. So Josh, you go ahead. I'll let you take lead on this, man. So once you start doing your research and you started thinking about it, what did you come up with?
Yeah, I mean,
hold on, real before I don't mean to cut you off before you even start, but Jay said the Cat's Quizzer sounds dirty.
I googled it. A lot of stuff come up. Yeah, Google it.
Man. Dr. Seuss was a smart cat, man. Like, so I think he had some double entendre going on in a lot of these titles and a lot of these stories. But Josh, go ahead and give us your thoughts, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, like looking into it, from an American standpoint, I mean, they have a right. They have a right to cease publication and licensing. I mean, it's
Free
not
enterprise, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, so on one hand, it's like, okay, that's fine. If you don't, if they were making that decision based on sales and not imagery, then nobody would have, anything to say about it. So businesses make these decisions every day. They just happen to make this one on a hot topic right now, on a, emotional topic. So, I mean, on one hand, it kind of benefits them. It draws attention. Plus, to release it on his birthday too. I mean, that was kind of, I don't know, maybe it was marketing, at its best, where they could increase their own sales of their other books. I don't know what's going on there.
Someone did mention that in chat, like, oh, they're marketing geniuses. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, whatever. But they have a right. So that's kind of my stance on it. Even though the imagery going and looking at it, I didn't really, to say I had a problem with any of them would be a stretch. I can see the problem, but I personally didn't have a problem. I mean, we're talking about images and they keep making a big deal over the Chinese man, I forget which book that was in, but.
Okay. So, well, it was, If I Ran the Zoo was one of them. There may have been others.
Yeah. They said there were like 40 some cases of Asian, whatever.
So I'll show you the image from If I Ran the Zoo that kind of got this book not published anymore. I won't say banned or censored, but so here it is. This is the Asians. Okay.
This is the one that hang on. You can't see the top of the cage.
Oh, you can't.
The top of the cage is like key, man.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with this page, this image right here at the top of the cage.
Up here, yeah.
Yeah, there stands.
Above the animal's head, like.
Yeah, there stands what looks like Caucasian male dressed in like safari clothes with a gun.
That was that was the guy, the narrator of the story.
Yeah.
If he ran the zoo.
Yeah.
That's that character.
Yeah, I mean, I can, like I said, me and you were talking, I mean, you can see, you can be offended by this, I mean, sure you can. You can be offended by anything. And that happens to be a virtue nowadays, is who can be the most offended, who can be the biggest victim. We talk about virtues on this channel, and courage is not a virtue anymore. It's like, who can be the biggest victim, right. And that mentality really sucks and hurts what we're talking about here. People becoming men and masculinity and alpha and, all these different traits that we talk about. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem with them pulling it. I do have a problem with people just being offended by ridiculous things. I mean, they said that they pulled together a bunch of experts. This was
racial experts.
Did they say racial? I didn't see that. I just saw experts.
Many of the stories I read was a panel of racial and social justice experts.
So these people that are looking for a certain thing.
I mean, if they don't have a fucking job, do they?
Yeah, I mean, but if you're looking for something, you're going to find it. Sure. What I mean? Like, that's your job. You're going to find it.
So back to this image, and Josh and I talked about this. The image, I'll show it one more time, of these, Asians, Orientals, whatever you want to call them. I know you're not supposed to say Oriental anymore, and I still ain't figured that out. I don't know how that's fucking racist. But anyway, like Josh said, look at their hat. Like this hat right here, to the guy on the left carrying the whatever the fuck that is.
I don't know what they're called.
They wore those hats. Wore those hats. And on the right here, you can see they're wearing these wooden shoes. Their gowns are traditional. The facial hair is traditional. I mean, again, you can be offended by that, but every kung fu movie I seen from the late 60s and early 70s, like Shaolin monks, that's what they fucking look like.
Yeah, they better not come after our 80s kung fu movies. I'm gonna be pissed off.
Dude, I'll fucking,
you can have Dr.
That's
Seuss.
when I get off the bench.
Yeah, you can have Dr. Seuss
for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I set my daughter down and I said, look at this, like, look at this image. Like, this is one of the big deals they're making. I'm like, he has wooden shoes on, you know, that's culturally a fact. They wear it, you know, they pajama looking clothing, whatever you want to call it, the top knot, the hair, you know, even one of the educators said he's eating with sticks. And that's what he said. And I'm like, yeah, chopsticks, you dipshit. You know, I mean, I was just up in New York and went to a restaurant. They didn't even have forks. I was forced to eat with chopsticks. And you know me, I'm not that athletic. And yes, I consider that athleticism to be able to eat with chopsticks. But yeah, your volume's low.
Yeah, I heard it.
Fix it. Say something.
Steve's the only one saying it, so I'll let some other people say it.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad that everything has to be turned into a racial profiling situation nowadays. You know, I mean, so, okay. You know, that's a good point, Audrey. So what I'll say is, and like Josh, you know, like, oh, this is cultural. The top knot. The top knot is cultural. There's a bunch of hipsters running around wearing fucking top knots nowadays. You know what I mean? No one accuses them of being Asian. So from all day one peeps, the irony. Jay, expand on that a little bit. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, and I want your opinion on this. So, you know, again,
well, I mean, take all of that imagery out, and what do you have?
Right.
I mean, you know, you have to have a character. They were depicting. I mean, hey, at least you're in the book.
So in the context of the story,
yeah,
it is he went to the Far East.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to have imagery that depicts the Far East.
It's fucking Dr. Seuss. Everything is a fucking caricature of a caricature. You know what I mean? So all these creatures that he's creating for this story. Oh, I'm kidding. The irony of you being low volume. All right, Jay, I got you, man. I'm loud. Fuck, I get it. So, you know, that's my point here. It's like, it's Dr. fucking Seuss.
Yeah.
All right?
I mean,
it's, you know, he's always creating, you're a character of yourself, basically. Right. So Josh, let's get to one that is a little more obscene, I'll say. Okay. So in the context of this story, this guy that's creating his own zoo is talking about going to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you would assume that these I want to say like Aborigine looking things. People were saying gorilla, I guess. You know, this is worse. I believe like if you're gonna like racially profile something, this is much worse image than the one before. What do you think?
I don't know what I can say on that. Yeah, man. I mean, it looks bad, but the intention was not to, you know,
I think it's context, right?
Yeah, not to correlate this with a race of people. I don't think. I mean, clearly, based on all of his other books and just him as a human being, that wasn't his intentions. You know, and he drew a lot of his own art. Drew everything, didn't he?
Drew everything.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he didn't. The intention wasn't there. But looking through it through like today's eyes, you know, I see what people are saying. And if I had to pick an image that I thought was like, yeah, it's a little messed up, this would be the one, I guess. You know, I could go along with this.
I mean, but that's. I mean, I feel like it's a reach.
Yeah, it is. But when you take people that you said were racial, they're looking for these things.
Those social justice warriors, right?
Yeah, then they're gonna find it. They're gonna find it, and it's just I don't even want to use the term cancel culture because it just like me and you doing this research, we saw the far extremes of both, right?
Oh,
I mean, people are passionate, and emotional about this whole thing. And it's really in the context of your life, it doesn't fucking matter. Who gives a shit, So
here's my thing. These are children's books. Okay? what child is going to look at that image and have some type of negative connotation toward it? I don't know where that would be. And if I'm a kid, you know, I may be thinking about putting these creatures in a zoo.
Dude,
as
I
the
have
bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking, oh my God, they're depicting a race of people like that. That's so wrong.
Yeah.
So Josh and I were talking about this on the phone earlier too. So, a friend of mine who's a personal trainer, he trains a guy that is a big game hunter. Okay, he's uber wealthy. This is what he does in his recreational time. He big game hunts. And when I say big game hunts, I mean this motherfucker goes to far reaches of Africa and you know, and employs tribes and these guides to find, you know, whatever prey that he's hunting at the time. Okay. And like, so he'll post pictures. And when I say this, I'm not talking about 30 years ago. I'm talking like 2 years ago. Okay. He hunts with a lot of pygmies. And when he takes a picture of whatever big game he has tracked, or they have tracked for him, actually, I mean, these tribal people, that like, they live in a fucking tribe. They have bones in their nose. They have plate lips. I mean, they are living in the fucking bush. So it's not a racial thing. It's a cultural thing. And this is what they look like.
Yeah. I mean, look at the movie
even today.
Yeah. Ace Ventura, the movie. I mean, shit, look at how that stuff was depicted in that movie, Ace Ventura. You know, I mean, they're not going to pull that movie. You reading the comments. Yeah, I saw one comment in here, you know, how it says, Travis King says people from 5, 10, 20 years ago are being held to today's standard. And that was one of the extremes. Like, people are running off saying, oh, Dr. Seuss was a racist bastard, you know, and they're not even paying attention to the story. They're isolating 6 books and, I don't know, 40 some drawings as touchy subjects or, you know, touchy imagery for today's world. So they're pulling it. You know, we're not really calling Dr. Seuss a racist, but these idiots that don't get the full story are running off saying he is, when it's really just a few books, and we're just trying to change and keep up with the times. You know, I mean,
right.
I don't really agree with any of it. I think that if your life and your world is so good, and you know, you're not having any other problems than a few Dr. Seuss books, we're doing pretty fucking good. You know,
right?
Our lives are pretty fucking good if we're worried about that.
Two comments I really want to get to is Jay said the issue is not intent, but actually lasting impressions, only impressions. And I understand what he's saying there. I do understand that point of view. I really do. You know, and Jay has a different, you know, being a black male, Jay has a different perspective than us. Okay, so what I would say to that is, okay. You know, I agree, but you know, I've seen white people depicted as goofy fucking nerds, and you know, Eddie Murphy does the best impersonation of a white dude ever. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, there's several comedians that do white people really, really good because, like, yeah, it's stereotypical. We can't dance. We got little dicks, all that shit. It's true. I mean, fuck, we can't dance. We got little dicks. All right. I mean, I don't ever get fucking fitted by it, but maybe that's just my nature. Okay. And also the next one is, and Josh, you and I talked about, Steve says, instead of banning the book, just redo the artwork, problem solved. Now, for full transparency here, they're not banning the book. Okay, there are several libraries that have said, we are not taking these books off the shelves. This is a library. There are thousands upon thousands of books here that could be deemed controversial. We're not taking them down. The New York City Library is not taking them down.
Really?
You know, yeah, no, they're not. Minneapolis Library is not taking them down. So I was like, fucking good for you guys. You know, like, and this is what one of the curators said at the library. I guess they're called curators now, not librarians. I don't know. I guess it's offensive. We can't call them fucking librarians anymore. They're curators. Sure, man. Whatever the fuck you want to be called. I don't care. They said, you don't want to read the book? Don't read it. We got other books we can recommend to you.
Yeah.
Fucking America, baby.
That's the kind of world we want to live in. Yeah, we want access to things, and we want to be able to make choices.
We want to make a fucking decision for ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so back to so just so you don't think Josh and I are leaning so far to the fucking right on this issue. So one of the guys that I follow on Instagram, and I won't mention his name. He's a fucking hero. This motherfucker's a hero. I love his page. So he posted an image of a AR-15 and the book The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss. Okay, and his title was "Come Get It," and he was like, you know, basically saying they're trying to censor these stories, and this story is about two different races coming together to overthrow an oppressive government, and he's right. So the book The Sneetches is actually part of a book. It's a 4-story book. It was 4 short stories that Dr. Seuss wrote. It won fucking awards everywhere. I had them wrote down. I can't fucking find them now. But it won. I don't think it won a Pulitzer, but it won all kinds of fucking awards for diversity. You know, like being oppressed. Like all these different themes, man. He really nailed it in these 4 short stories. The Sneetches and the Starbelly Sneetches, it was part of that. That wasn't even one of the fucking books that they were banning or getting rid of. So, you know, he was playing the card of, they're coming for our stuff, guys. This is just the start of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got him on the right as well as you guys have them on the fucking left.
Yeah, you mean crazy people.
Just,
you know,
yeah.
In that particular
triggered culture. If I could coin the term, it's triggered culture. So like people get triggered by censorship, oppression, you know, all these keywords that we hear nowadays, and we react with emotion and not intellect and not critical thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what I fear is that we'll have such a censored culture that we won't be able to discuss these things. You know, I mean, like take a book like that and I'm reading it to my kid and they're like, "Yeah, what's that?" You know, and you know, then now I have a discussion. Well, you know, some people, you know, have these beliefs. You know, other people's have these beliefs. You know, is that right or wrong? You know, we should be able to, like, who was somebody in the Sedlock in the comments said having choices. I mean, you should have choices. You know, I mean, and we should have these. Not that we should have these things out there where I'm probably getting this wrong in our society. I'm just saying that we're gonna get ourselves to a position where we don't even feel comfortable expressing ourselves because everybody has thoughts that aren't necessarily what you believe, but through stereotypes and all of that, it comes out. Yeah. And it's like, then you have to think, wow, why did I say that? You know, I mean, I have discussions with guys at work all the time because, you know, I mean, you know, guys from all different races, you know, about different subjects, you know, and it's cool to get their perspective because you know, I don't see it like that.
Well,
not that I even agree all the time, but it's cool getting a different perspective. You know,
it's like Jay being in the chat right now, man. It's fucking fantastic. I love him being here, especially on this topic, because he said, you know, Jay's like, I just sidestep most of these debates. You guys are definitely bringing big dick energy discussing this. So I think that's a good thing. I think he's just complimenting us. I don't know. I like it. You know, being
we should be able.
Big dick is good. So
yeah, intelligent, rational people should be able to discuss this stuff without emotion taking over and it just being an argument. I mean, you're never going to get anywhere. You know, once somebody's offended, the discussion's over with. You might as well just walk away. You know, and wait until you can deal with somebody that has a little bit more intelligence. Anyway, hey, that's 40 minutes on that. I think
I've seen that.
I think we got it.
Think you got it?
Yeah, freedom as the overall theme there. We should have the freedom to choose.
Decide.
Yeah,
Let us
not that
decide.
we shouldn't look at things in our culture and say, "Hey, it's fucked up."
That's fucked up.
Let's change that. Let's at least take a hard look at it and see what we can do about it and have a discussion.
So this is my closing thought on this, and I've been thinking about this shit all day. It's weird. This is how I feel. It's so we can't actually. We don't know how far we've come if we start erasing the past. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, you're echoing.
I was echoing. Am I echoing now? Because I don't think I am. I heard it coming through Josh's shit.
You don't have an echo.
It's gone now. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
That's what I figured. I heard it, and then it was gone.
Yeah, clearly it's not us. I mean, it's not something we're doing wrong.
Yeah,
it's
this
StreamYard.
is fucking StreamYard.
So.
We're gonna me and StreamYard are gonna have a fucking heart-to-heart. Trust me. But so you can't determine. And I think Travis said this earlier in chat. Like, people are being held to the standards of today that were fucking born 30 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So we can't gauge progress, and that's the thing about progressives. Okay, and I'll fucking say this, and this is the goddamn fucking truth. I won't bend. I won't break on this. You progressives. You want to be progressive, but you want to burn down the fucking platform that you came off of. So how do we progress if we burn everything fucking behind us? It's lunacy is what it is. And that's what I want people to fucking realize is we can't tell. So when he wrote what was it, Mulberry Street, one of the books that's being unpublished, 1937. Okay, 1937, guys. People had a lot of fucking different ideas about cultures, races, everything. Look how fucking far we have came. Look how far we fucking came. I mean, Jay, can you say that we haven't came a long way? I mean, I think we have. I want to think we have as a fucking human beings. And that's one of the reasons me and Josh want to do this fucking show is we want people to fucking think about this shit rationally and not be triggered and have some type of fucking critical thinking. Okay? I don't know, man. I get hot about this shit because, Josh and I, we come from the fucking fire service where, it may be a black guy I'm on the line with. It may be a black guy that I'm going to the fucking roof with. Did I ever think for a fucking second, because of his race, that he couldn't do the fucking job and that my fucking life might be in danger or my life might be in hands? I never thought that way. Because guess what? I went to the roof with some white dudes that I was nervous about.
I don't go to the roof with white people. No, I refuse, man. They suck.
They suck. They fucking suck. But, that's what I'm saying. Like, we had an opportunity, a privilege to be in an environment, a profession that it was just about the fucking work, man. It was just about the dude beside us. And we didn't give a shit if it was a woman, if it was a fucking black dude, if it was Zach Sanders. Like, we didn't care who it was. Can you do the fucking job?
Yeah.
Can you help me get this fucking job done? It's important. This job's important. We're not pushing paper. It ain't Dunder fucking Mifflin here. I mean, our jobs, sometimes it was a vacant fucking house and we're like, what are we doing here? Why are we risking our life for this fucking vacant house?
Right. We probably pulled more people out of vacant houses in the last 10 years than we have occupied structures.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Oh, fucking absolutely. Absolutely. I don't even want to talk about the next subject. I want to keep this going.
Oh, God. What?
Huh?
What subject? Dr. Seuss?
No, I mean, just fucking, I don't know, social injustice.
Okay. So you don't want to touch on any of this other stuff that you sent me?
Yeah.
Because I had to spend 30 fucking minutes writing it down because what you sent me was so small I couldn't read it. I had to keep blowing it up on my phone and then scrolling across to write it down.
Jesus
you guys
Christ.
It sucks. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So
no. I'm just kidding.
All
right. Hey, guys, that was a great discussion. Thank you so much, everybody, for fucking chiming in. Everybody's got an opinion on this shit, right? So we really, really, really appreciate you guys chiming in because, again, the conversation. It's the conversation is how we all grow. All right. So, on the Alpha Bro Show, Josh and I are huge advocates of these traits. In the last few years, we feel like these traits have gotten a fucking bad rap. And these are things that people fucking should be striving for. Okay. But so when does that become a detriment? And it could be a detriment in the workplace. It could be a detriment in your relationship. It could be a detriment to your fucking friends. So we want to kind of explain, like, because you may be going, well, when I don't really know what you're talking about there. And that's totally fucking fine. All right? Because what we're going to do is, God damn, it is little. Hey, you could turn your phone sideways and it gets bigger, right?
No, I didn't know that. Landscape. I taught you landscape. What are you talking about?
All right. So, alpha attribute. Sorry. The bourbon is starting to kick in. I'm starting to get a little hot. All right. So, one of the alpha attributes, Jesus Christ, that you have is you're self-confident and you're opinionated. Okay? I mean, there's a lot of you all in the chat that are fucking alphas in that aspect because you're opinionated. You have a fucking opinion. Okay? And you're self-confident. So when you utter your opinion, you're extremely fucking confident about it. Okay? In the workplace, fire department, military, the motherfucking Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. All right? The value of that trait is, you act decisively and you have good intuition. Okay? When does that go bad? When is that too much? All right? It can make you closed-minded, domineering, and intimidating. Okay? We've all had these bosses, right? We've all had these bosses that walked in, thought they were the shit. All right? They were self-confident. Well, they thought they were self-confident. They were opinionated. All right? They acted decisively. They may not have good intuition because if they did, you would at least had some respect for their decision-making process. Okay? But then when you came to them and said, hey, man, this decision you made over here, it ain't working out. Like, we're the grunts. Like you have a CO and a CO's telling people what to do, or you have a major in the fire department that has, 7 different companies that he's managing, and he's telling you what he wants done, and then you're trying to do it, and then it's not feasible. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So, and then, but he's so confident and domineering that you don't want to fucking say anything to him. Hey, how do you navigate that, Josh? What do you do in that situation? And we've had bosses like that.
Yeah, I think, we've definitely had bosses like that, but I think the place I've seen it more is at the private level, the firefighter level, because if you're looking at like the adverse of like being confident, which is, hopefully having this inner, this inner ability, this inner strength that you have, knowing that you're confident enough that you've accumulated, enough knowledge and experience that you can handle things. The guys that don't have that, to put a word to it, in my opinion, is cocky. They come off as being cocky, so they're trying to be loud. They're trying to pretend that they know what they're doing.
Right.
They act like they're confident.
Yes.
But it once, and how do we know that? At least in our jobs, it's performance. So a guy that's cocky and comes off, falsely as confident, he gets exposed quick, when it comes to actually putting tools to use. It's easy to pick that guy out. He can sit back all day and type on a computer or sit at the firehouse table and talk about all the doors he's forced and all the people he's pulled out of a building. And then the knockout goes off and you roll out the door and this kid's fucking panicking at the front door and has mask problems, or whatever, I mean, so then he's exposed. He's just this cocky asshole that hasn't been able to humble himself yet and accumulate the knowledge and the experience to truly be confident, and that's like a hard person to manage, in my opinion. I mean, and I think we've all come across that. And in our context, the fire service, that really stands out because, I mean, guys are, a lot of type A personalities and they want to be beyond where they're at, so they're action based, and they're trying to pretend that they're somewhere that they're not yet. Not to say that they won't get there, but they become off cocky, and they're just not humble. It's a shitty person to kind of work with if their maturity stays at that level,
So Travis King says a good leader listens, a fine line between confident and cocky. You're absolutely right. And one of the best leaders, I'll even call him a mentor, which, is for me a really strong term in the fire service, because I just don't feel like there's enough of them and enough good ones. But, this guy was a well-respected firefighter. He was a leader. He was a captain. He was a truck captain. I mean, he did a lot of stuff, and he ended up being my district chief. And I'll never forget, we were on a fire, and we were actually a RIT company because we were way away from where the fire was, but it kind of got bad, so they called extra companies in. We were the RIT team, which is Rapid Intervention Team, right? Yep. Yeah, it was RIG. I remember RIG, Rapid Intervention Group. Then it became Team, blah, 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 whatever. Basically, you sit there and you do fucking nothing unless shit goes to hell in a handbasket. Then you're called to action. Never really happens, but it could. So you got to be ready. So anyway, this fire was going fucking really, really, really bad. And he looked at us and was like, hey, this is getting fucking out of control. What do you guys think? And I was like, me and my captain at the time were like, oh, shit. Like, didn't expect that from him at all. And it wasn't because he didn't have a fucking plan. He initiated his plan. Things weren't going right. He came to us for advice. And we're like, there's a window right there. We can put a ladder up, get inside this room right here where nobody is, because we could see where people were, and he goes, and that's a no-go. Like a RIT team actually getting involved, like, rapid intervention. No, you can't do that. He said, get up in that window and put this fucking fire out. And we were like, holy shit. So he totally broke protocol to get the fucking job done. Okay? And we, and honest, by the time we got the ladder up, I got up in the window. Josh, I think you were at 22s at the time. I think it was you and Truck One, Alan Boucher and them. You guys had picked up the line and advanced and ended up putting the fire out before me and Artie actually got in.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It does. Yeah. That's exactly how it went down.
Of course, we put the fire out.
So,
yeah.
But this guy, true alpha, but he knew, like, hey, I've exhausted my fucking contingency plan. What do I do now? I respect these two guys here. What do you guys want to do? What do you think we should do? And he would have gotten big trouble. If anybody would have got fucking hurt on that fire, he'd have gotten huge trouble.
Yeah.
But the mission came first to him. And that's what I always fucking respected about him. Josh, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that kind of, you talking about that kind of comes to our next point of being highly intelligent. And
nice segue.
Yeah.
Good job. Go ahead.
Yeah, highly intelligent. I mean, he was intelligent enough to like have the confidence and the knowledge in his men and the humility about himself to look around for help. I mean, he wasn't cocky and arrogant. I mean, well, yeah. So like if we're looking at a word to oppose highly intelligent, arrogance would be a good word for it. I mean,
Sure.
yeah, and he wasn't, arrogant in that situation where he's just gonna, I'm in charge, I have the rank, I have all the fucking answers. He was able to look around and have the confidence in his members that hopefully he had a role in training, so he knows the ability of these people and request some help. Hey, what do you guys think? I mean, the job we do is tough. We're making decisions, based in a very compressed time frame here, and you have to make a really good decision, or like you said, somebody can get hurt, somebody get killed, whatever, or we could just not do our job efficiently. So yeah, I mean, that's important. I mean, highly intelligent. I can't really read what you wrote.
So the value to the organization of being highly intelligent is sees beyond the obvious, takes creative leaps.
Okay.
So you could say that that district chief took a creative leap by going outside of SOPs, standard operating procedures for y'all don't know what it means, and then like actually kind of breaking the rules of even safety. To be honest, okay, but that the safety in the fire department is a little different. Like, so if this fire goes to hell in a handbasket, it becomes a hell of a lot more fucking dangerous than you've got this manpower sitting outside not with their fucking fingers in their ass. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that there's a fine line there. But he knew that, and we knew that. So when he asked us to get off the bench, it was, we were ready to fucking do it. So when that becomes a risk to the organization is it dismisses or demeans colleagues who disagree with him. Okay,
yeah, well, they're arrogant.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah, they're arrogant. They have all the fucking answers.
Got all the fucking answers.
Yeah.
And Josh, how many fucking district chiefs have you worked with that fit that category?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what breeds that.
More than not.
Yeah, I don't know what breeds that. Maybe a sense of responsibility, and a lack of knowledge of your people and your district that you're working in and the crews that are under you. I don't know what breeds that type of person, but yeah, I mean they're all over the place in the fire service. I'm sure the police department, I'm sure military, I mean, that person, that kind of person has this great pressure on them that they think that they have to walk into a job as a leader or a major or a captain and have all of the fucking answers when that's not the case. I mean, you shouldn't be expected to have all the answers. What you should be expected to do is to surround yourself with people that can complement you as far as making decisions and utilizing the people that are around you on your crew, getting to know them, getting to know what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, so that you can use that in the future and then develop them into a leader that you have become. Hopefully, I mean, that would be the ideal way to do it, but it doesn't happen. People feel like they have to make the decision and be the top dog and my way or the highway kind of mentality.
Exactly.
Just an arrogance that, probably if you look throughout the history of the fire department, arrogance has probably killed quite a few people.
I think there's a fine, this is going to sound bad. I'm thinking of one guy in particular, which is awful, but I feel like there's a fine line between arrogance and I don't even want to say ignorance. I want to say fucking stupidity. Like you're going to look at some of these guys that and guys, you know them too. Like Josh and I were talking about a certain workplace. I don't give a fuck where you work at. You have ran into them all. Everybody that we're talking about right now. You had that boss that was, Steve Carell's character in The Office. Like, he's a fucking moron. He's a fucking moron, but he thinks he's the fucking cock of the walk. Everything that he says is fucking gospel. It's what it should be done. And everybody in the office goes, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy. Who the fuck gave him the fucking manager title? You know what I mean? So everybody can relate to this, okay? And the reason that we're pointing these things out is so when you recognize these type of things, maybe you don't get triggered emotionally because it's an easy fucking thing to do, especially in Josh and I's line of work, the military. You know, if there's fucking bullets flying around and you got a fucking CO, it's a fucking goof, and they're telling you to do something that's fucking stupid, you're going to be triggered because you have that fight or flight response, and you're going to be emotional, and you're going to be like, man, fuck you. And I've told guys that. I mean, I've told guys that on the job. Like, fuck you. I ain't fucking doing that. You know, like, this needs to be fucking done first. That is fucking not even secondary. You know what I mean? But, you know, I had time on the job and I had experience on the job that I could have got by with that. So that leads me to my next point. Josh, did you have something you want to add real quick?
Yeah, just a real quick story, man, about, combining these two, being cocky and arrogant. I was not new on the fire department, but I had a few years on, and I was transitioning from, I wish John Berceau was on here. He would get a laugh out of the story, but I was transitioning from an engine to a truck, right? And there are some, debate on who's better, an engine or a truck or, whatever. And so this was early on. There was no social media, but Firehouse Magazine had a website that had forums in it. I don't know if you even heard this story before. Had forums in it. So I would get at the firehouse every now and again. I had a login and all that, and I would get in the discussion in the forums. Well, discussion came up one night about engine guys versus truck guys. So I made a lot of derogatory comments from an engine perspective about truck guys, huh?
I remember this.
Oh, yeah, about truck guys. I was being cocky and arrogant and also kind of funny, at the same time.
Sure.
I didn't realize the consequences that was going to follow or I wouldn't have done it. Huh?
What accent you're capping then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure he fucking masterminded the whole thing. But anyway, so I'm making, I'm fucking tearing up the internet, making comments about these lazy truck guys that don't make as many runs and they don't put out the fire, but they're the guys that get put on the fucking news because they're on the roof and nobody sees the actual heroes inside fighting the fire. The whole thing. I was giving them all of that. Well, John Berceau, a sergeant at the time, didn't have a firehouse. Yeah, I think Steve Surratt remembers this story too, but he didn't have a login into Firehouse Magazine. So I gave him my login so that he could get in there and read articles. I was being a nice fucking guy. Well, he betrayed that by reading all of my posts, putting them out, sharing them with all of the fucking guys in the firehouse.
I remember
that. The timing was great because I was just getting transferred
to the truck
from the engine to the truck. So I got there and I'm like, fuck yeah, I've made it. Now I'm one of these guys, one of these truck guys that are badass, and big, strong, big dudes, that have all the knowledge, whatever. Well, now I come in the firehouse one day and all my comments are pasted up on the wall.
They were all over the walls in the kitchen.
Everywhere. I mean, I walked in and seen like one or two and was just like, oh, motherfucker. Like what I had written a few months earlier, but it didn't get exposed until about that time. So the timing was great. Well, then every day for like 2 months, they would take a vote in the morning. The other 3 to 4 guys that were on the truck.
Did he tell you back to the engine?
Oh, we had roll call in the morning, so we'd come in and talk about the day, and then they'd be like, "Hey, we need to, one other, matter that we need to address is Josh going to ride the truck today?" So they would do literally a fucking Romans, death thing, thumbs up or down, and every day for about a month and a half. No, he's on the engine. And I had, it was a test, and I needed it because I was cocky and arrogant.
Yes.
I was being a jackass. I offended you. We talked about honor code in the last. I offended our honor code. Even though I didn't name any of the guys on the truck, I was just generally speaking in terms of truck versus engine in the fire service. Well, yeah, so I had to ride in my old position while the other guy got to ride up on the truck for a few months. And there wasn't a thing I could say. I just had to take it, learn that lesson, be humble, and realize, hey, there's a fucking honor code here that you can't step outside of.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good story that ties in both these being cocky and arrogant. So
yeah. And again, like, and I've told this story before, I went to the 4th District, you know, as a new boy, bad place to fucking go. I got in bad habits. I always knew what I was capable of. So that lent me to a level of arrogance and cockiness. Okay. I always knew all I needed was a chance, but I never got my chance. So honestly, until you get your fucking chance and you prove yourself, you're just a fucking cocky asshole that ain't done shit. And that's what I was.
Yeah.
I always knew I was better in what I could bring to the table. But until you bring it to the fucking table, you ain't doing nothing, dude. You ain't doing shit. You know? And I see a lot of guys in the fire service that look physically like, man, like, dude, that fucking guy could probably, you know, he'd get it done. You know what I mean? He needs an opportunity. And as I got older, I always recognized that. Like, yeah, oh, he ain't never been anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Don't mean he can't do it, man. He just ain't had his fucking chance. Now, when you get your chance, you got to fucking come through, brother. Because if you don't, then all that potential fucking don't mean shit. Yeah. And what you say is the worst compliment you can get in the fire department, Josh?
He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
He's hey, motherfucker's a CrossFit fucking champion.
Yeah, I don't need to hear another fucking word about that guy. He's a good guy. Oh, really? Okay, cool.
But he's a good guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's a good man, but he's not good at being a fireman. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much is what that says.
Yeah, it's exactly what it says.
But yeah.
Okay. So that kind of brings us to our next point. High performance expectations for himself or others. The value to this, to the workplace, is he sets and achieves high goals. Like he's a fucking go-getter. Okay, when you see somebody working hard and you're around them all the time, especially a superior officer, it makes you want to fucking do more. You know what I mean? Like you may not even like this motherfucker, but it's a culture. And we say this all the time, you know, like it's a fucking culture. Oh, the rookie don't want to carry the senior wide receivers pads. You know, yeah, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. Motherfucker, can you put your ego away to make the team better? Okay. And so that's what these older guys and even some of these high performance guys that have these expectations, they set these high goals and they achieve these high goals. So you have to fucking follow suit. The risk to that organization is constantly dissatisfied, fails to appreciate and motivate others. Okay, so you've got this laser focus from this individual, right? He's setting these high goals for himself, but he's so laser focused, he doesn't see the individuals around him. And in an operation like Josh and I work, like this could be a definite detriment. I was trying to think of an example of this. Do you have one, Josh? I don't really.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Shit, man. Let me look here. You skipped action oriented, but you're probably drunk, so I forgive you. Yeah, you did. We didn't touch that. That was the next one on the list. You skipped it. It's all right.
Resist, proceed changes, and that.
Yeah, we did highly intelligent and then skipped action oriented, and now we're on.
I went to action oriented.
I didn't hear it. Where was I at?
Oh my God.
We didn't do that, did we?
Yeah, we did. I went all the way through it.
Fuck, I must have been thinking about something else.
Oh my God.
Gosh,
yeah.
podcast
like, dude, Chad,
I would
tell
turn this
him
off
we went
right
through
now.
action oriented. I went through it.
Go back to action oriented. Somebody's requesting.
Go back to it? All right, we'll go back to it.
Yeah, I mean, well, action oriented. I mean, I like that. You know, I mean, I look at that, you know,
produces results.
Yeah. And I look at, you know, who do you want to be action oriented? You know, I mean, I want my firefighters to be action oriented. I want my leaders to be highly intelligent. You know, I want them to also, I want my firefighters to be self-confident. You know, we've talked about these few things. I want the leaders to be all of these things, but I'm looking at progressing through the ranks of the fire service. You know, you're probably not going to be highly intelligent. I mean, and there are all different kinds of intelligence. What I'm talking about, job intelligence, and at a new guy at a firefighter level, you may not have that. So if you're action oriented, you know, directed in a way that you have confidence to the point that you've built some competence within the job. You know how to do the skills and the tactics of the job. I can use you so that I know that if I'm a leader and I look at a group of guys that I know can get a job done, I don't have to explain every fucking step for you to take. I don't have to tell you to, hey, go force the door, go down the hallway, search the room to the right, search the room to the left. I can just tell you, hey man, go do a search, and you're going to get that done because you've trained, you know what you're doing. You've built the competence up, you're action oriented.
We've been on crews like that. Like, I've been detailed to houses and, a busy house, and you look around and you go, fuck, I ain't got much fucking help today. You know what I mean? And then you go to crews, and Josh is different than me. Okay. And when I say that, I mean, I didn't ever want to make a fucking fire. I didn't want to make a fire. I didn't have to. I've made enough of them. I wasn't that action junkie. I didn't need it. I didn't want to do the fucking overhaul. If I was going to make a fire, I wanted it to be 6 o'clock in the fucking morning because I got off at fucking 7:30, and we could go in, play, knock it out, and fucking leave. Because what a lot of people don't understand is when the fire's out, like we put the fire out, maybe 20, 30 minutes, whatever, maybe longer, unfortunately. Then the work starts. Like, we're there 6 fucking hours cleaning, shoveling, pulling. This is where the cancer risk comes in, all that shit. I ain't fucking want none of it. Okay? So, but if the bell fucking sounds and we gotta go to work, and we're gonna fucking go to fucking work. And we're gonna do the fucking best job we can. So when I got on some crews and I looked around and went, man, dude, we got a fucking bunch of studs today. Like, I was kind of ready. Like, I wanted to see how fucking good we could be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was a pride thing, like produces results, right? Action oriented. You're going to fucking produce results.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, and I do. I want to make every fire. Yeah.
I know you do.
I'd rather do overhaul than eat a warm meal at the firehouse. I got 2 days I can eat warm meals. So if you want to have some fires, I work on platoon 1, tower 2.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Hey, it's been a while, man. I mean, tower 2's been a bad year for us. There's not been a lot of fires.
It's Tower 2. What's
still,
a good
man,
fucking year for Tower 2? A fire a month?
Make more fires than you think.
Oh my God. I used to say the same thing when I was a Quintet.
I know. I was a truck 4. I know. I've heard it all. But I'm loyal to where I'm at. So I'm at Tower 2 now. It's the best fucking company in the city.
I got you. No, that's fair. That's fucking fair. So which one you want to do now?
Fuck, I don't know. You're calling all the shots. You want to go
direct communication style?
I thought these other ones were kind of lame.
Okay. How about highly disciplined? I like that one.
Okay.
Or unemotional. You pick.
Fuck, I don't have that one.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, here it is.
Imagine that.
I found it. I had to write them down, man. I couldn't read that shit you said.
So look, we'll start with highly disciplined. If it leads to a conversation, does. If it don't, fucking don't. Highly disciplined, an alpha trait. Okay. The value to the organization is extremely productive, finds time and energy for a high level of work and fitness. Okay, kind of important. The risk to that organization has unreasonable expectations of self and others, misses signs of burnout.
He sounds fine to me. He sounds like a good
dude.
To you? Like a good dude to me. Yeah, I mean, I think where this comes into play is like at least within the fire service. I mean, if I have a guy that is highly disciplined, and I work with some guys that are very disciplined in the way that they do things. I mean, and they're efficient and they don't miss anything. I'm not really like that. I can admire that, but I'm not wired that way. I'm more of a creative or whatever you want to call it, but I'm not wired for like real disciplined work. I question too many things. Sure. But yeah, I mean, I like these guys. They're reliable, I mean, they're very reliable. They're going to do a good job for you. I mean, they're great guys to have around. I just,
This is what I see, and I'm gonna kind of tangent just for a second. So you know, when Josh and I were in drill school, which is we were like 24 weeks, 26 weeks, something like that. I don't know what the fuck it is now, but you know, I felt like we were fucking SEAL Team 6. You know what I mean? Like we're training every day. We're doing all this stuff, man. We can't fucking wait to get on the street, make a fucking difference, and help people and save people and be fucking heroes and get girls and, you know, fucking people throw flowers at us in the fucking street when we go to fucking Kroger and all that shit. Yeah, no, that ain't what fucking happens.
No, that's not the reality.
Not what happens at all. So again, it is really incumbent on where you get assigned, because I've said this on damn near every fucking show I've done. I wasn't a firefighter until I got to the 1st District. And for those of you who don't know, the 1st District it's the busiest district. They make the most fucking fires. You know, even when I was at 22s, I didn't feel like I was a fucking firefighter until I got to Engine 6, which is the best fucking firehouse ever, anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I you know, again, like the caveat when I said earlier, you know, I knew what I brought to the table, but I never got my fucking opportunity. At Engine 6, I got many opportunities. Okay. And I fucked some of them up. I'm not saying I fucking nailed them all. I didn't. I fucked some of them up, especially driving. So, you know, I always like to think that not only did it give me my opportunity, it allowed me to grow as a firefighter, as a fucking person, as a man. Okay, as a fucking man, because I'm surrounded by these guys that I'd fucking admire. I liked. Engine 6 back in the day was the best firehouse on all 3 shifts in any fucking fire department. I don't give a fuck where you're at. It was magical, and it was something that when I retired, it was what I hurt about the most. Like, if I could have stayed at 6s and kept all 3 fucking crews there and let nobody retire, let nobody fucking transfer,
yeah, man,
I would have fucking stayed there for my entire life.
Yeah,
That's
it was
fucking
a beautiful
magical.
Is a great term. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, it really was.
It was glorious.
Yeah,
And,
plus we were busy.
What,
I mean, we were
what
making a
makes
lot of
things
fires.
glorious?
Yeah.
Their shelf life, right?
I missed. What'd you say?
Huh?
What'd you say? We talked over each other.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said what makes things glorious? What makes things beautiful is their shelf life. And if it could have lasted forever, it might not have been as fucking magical.
Yeah.
But because we had this fucking great guys, I mean, on all 3 shifts, I mean, we all loved each other. We all loved shift change. And I would stay drinking coffee on both sides of the shift till I got off at 8 legally. I could have left at 7. I stayed till 9:30, 10 o'clock. Because just drinking coffee and telling stories, because I love these guys, man. What's up, Mike? Better late than never, brother. Absolutely, bro. Man, thanks for joining in. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Honorary Alpha Bro Mike Harshfield, guys.
Something to hit me with this, like highly disciplined, where it says the risk with the format that we have says what is the risk to an organization with a highly disciplined person. So the first 2 words in that is unreasonable expectations for self and others. Mm-hmm. And to me, I mean, that's kind of subjective. I mean, you know, if I'm in the fire service, right, and I say I create a training scenario for someone, to them with their experience level or where they're at, that could be, you know, an unreasonable expectation in their eyes. So you got to be careful, you know, whereas in my eyes, say, like, take for instance, the progression of like forcible entry. You're teaching forcible entry. You know, first you teach people, you know, forcible entry is how we get into houses. It's basically the first fucking step, you know, in firefighting. We have to get into your house. So we have to know how to, you know, basically break in. So you start training people that you just have a door, that there's no obstacles, there's no problems. You're teaching them how to just use the tool, right? And then that progresses on to like, now you're in a narrow hallway where your tool, you know, your position that you're normally in is compromised. Then you add smoke and low visibility, and then you add heat, to that scenario. So you've progressed now from, these are the tools that we use to, if I threw that person into a hot environment with low visibility right off the get-go, that's unreasonable expectations. But once they have some experience in the job, then they realize, hey, that wasn't unreasonable at all. That's our fucking job. Like that's what reality is. That's what happens. So you have to kind of be careful when people are like, "Oh, that's unrealistic. That's not going to fucking happen." Especially in jobs like ours. I've never worked out in the, white collar jobs or in an office or anything like that. But I assume there are some, correlations there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't think unreasonable expectations for yourself and for other people is entirely a bad thing because, you look at 9/11. I mean, nobody foreseen that happening. You can't train for that. If I were to train you for a collapse of two, high rises in downtown New York, you'd be like, ain't gonna fucking happen. It's never gonna happen. This is a ridiculous training. Sure. That's unreasonable. Said, yeah. He's got unreasonable expectations for us. Right. Well, no, he didn't. He had foresight is what he had, right. And he was able to use his intelligence, and all these other things that we talked about,
right,
and put a plan together, to handle it. So you have to be careful of demonizing that.
Well, and that's kind of what the fire service is too, right? Any kind of emergency service. I mean, this is what we should be doing is training for what hasn't happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that, of course, yeah, we're going to do one rescue training, two-man rescue training. We're going to do shit like that. We're going to do vertical ventilation training. We're going to do, advancing hose. We're going to do all that shit.
Yeah, well,
because this is what we, this is common practice. But then when you, like you said, you think outside the box and you think, okay, a terrorist is going to fly a fucking building into this high rise. Let's just stop there. Not two high rises. One high rise. Yeah. What would you have said?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Ain't gonna happen.
Fuck, motherfucker.
This guy's an idiot. Yeah, this guy's an idiot. Why is he always thinking up this dumb shit?
Yeah. Like Sam said, hey, welcome, Sam. Proactive and not reactive. And that's true. But so I'll say this. And so let's get to, okay. We'll caveat this to highly disciplined. Okay, the value to the organization is extremely productive, finds time and energy for high-level work and fitness. Okay, we did that one? Did we do that one?
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
All right, unemotional. I'll fucking caveat this unemotional. I can do both. Unemotional, has laser focused and objective. Really? Okay. So you've got a guy that wants to do this training on a fucking Cessna or a fucking 747 going into a fucking high rise. And he has to realize, if he's intelligent enough, that the workforce, us, first responders, are going to scoff and go, what the fuck? Why are we training for this shit? Okay. Now he has to apply that. He has to sell us on that training. And I feel like that's a lot of things that go wrong in training in the fire service is, you're right. Like, oh, it's unrealistic. That's not attainable. That's what are we doing here? But a good leader, a good major, a good training officer, they're going to sell that on you. But like, okay, guys, no, I get it. What's the chances of this fucking happening? But what if it does? Yeah. And we've got 11 companies in the fucking stairwell here. Like, how do we train for this? You know what I mean? And even if they did have training, it still may have not mitigated what happened. Yeah. But, I would never, ever, the only problem I ever had with training in all my years in the fire department was, this isn't good training. This isn't good training. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't what we would do. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going off somebody's SOP, or we're going off somebody's CPAT, or Josh, you're actually more involved on that side than I am. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like what Berceau just wrote in the comments about high risk, low frequency. And I think that you talk about training in the fire service, and you mentioned what you didn't like about a lot of the training in the fire service. What I didn't like about, and what I don't like about training in the fire service, is that it's very monotonous and it's very routine, and it's a lot of the same things over and over and over.
Yeah.
So we don't have, there's not a lot of creativity that comes into play in training that creates a situation where our members have to think on their feet, because that's what you really have to do on the streets. It's like, make it hard, kill people in training, because that's going to fucking happen in the street.
That's right.
And we're talking about emotions, unemotional as a virtue, having an unemotional, right? Ain't the one we're on?
Yes,
unemotional.
Yes, unemotional.
Yeah. So you're talking about unemotional and being laser focused and objective. And then it says the risk is difficult to connect with that person and doesn't inspire teams. I don't know. When I think about unemotional, that's the kind of person I want on a fire scene. I don't want an emotional person on the fire scene. Because when emotions take over, just like when emotions take over about Dr. Seuss, you start thinking these, all these emotions flood in, and you start thinking all these radical thoughts that are far, to one side. I think that really takes the focus off what's going on. You have to be kind of practical and be able to operate. And if emotions are in the way, you can cry at home later on to your wife or to your girlfriend or your husband or whatever. There's no crying on a fire scene.
Sure.
I don't want you to be emotional.
Sure. Well,
and I may be
so,
getting that emotional wrong, but.
So yeah, well, okay. This is what I would think. And I was never a fucking district chief. Didn't want to be, but I'm not so close-minded that I can't put myself in their position. So, and this was a fire you and I were on, the Hill Road fire that we made from fucking Bank Street to
Dairy
fucking
Queen.
Hill Street over on fucking
Dairy Queen,
Parkway,
wasn't it? Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. Yeah, we were Dairy Queen eating fucking blizzards, and we get this fucking house fire that we never thought we would make it to.
No, I was eating my fucking blizzard, just relaxing.
I was too. As Doug Pedersen drove us, as he was looking out of a fogged window, driving an apparatus 60 miles an hour with a fucking field of vision this big, and Josh and I were like, "Oh, we're going to fucking die and have ice cream in our fucking stomach."
Yeah, happy.
Yeah, and die happy. But, we get to this fire and it was a shit show, 3 stories, fucking rocking and rolling when we get there. Long story short, we think, me and Josh and our captain at the time, we thought we found it in a knee wall. They had already hit the evacuation tone. The evacuation tone was going out. Motherfuckers was going out behind us. And we're like, hey, and it was you, Josh. You're like, Josh, man, like, open up his fucking knee wall right here. And I think I had an axe or whatever. We all open it up and there's fire.
Yeah, then they start opening it up more and more. And there was no lines. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And we're like, hey, we need a fucking line. No, we got a line. We did get a line.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was that came down the steps and goes, hey guys, they're hitting that fucking evac tone. And I said, I'll never forget this. And Jim Fredericks, I wish he was in the fucking chat right now. He's going to be so mad he's not, because he was the district chief on this fire.
I remember.
And he was the guy that hit the fucking tone, get out tone. And I said, tell Jimmy to put his fucking panties back on. We got this shit. And I'm already ready to fucking get like I said, the roses thrown at me, the fucking girls throwing their panties at us when we walk out of this fucking building.
Yeah.
So, and we knocked it all down in there. We come out because our bottles are low. We're all dinging at this point, right? And that means your air's low. So we all go out. We were on the 2 side, 3, 4. So we come out of the 2 side. We come out the front, which is 1 side, and there's heavy fire blowing out of the 4 side.
Yeah.
And I went, oh shit. Fredericks looks at me. This is exactly what he said to me, too. He goes, and I didn't think anybody would tell him what I said, but they did. Jimmy goes, "Want me to put my panties back on now?" And I was like, "Good call, Mage. Get this out of there." So he wasn't emotional. He was still mission competent. Okay, but he didn't want anybody to get fucking hurt. So his emotions still played a point. And I feel like maybe if we had a little bit more time, we could have got something done.
Yeah.
He may have hit it a little too soon, but it's a big house. There's a lot of fire and there's a lot of dudes in it. It ain't worth it. It's a risk assessment at that point.
Yeah, there are two very different perspectives at a fire. There's that one from inside and there's that one from outside. You know, and we have to kind of trust each other.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, obviously the person on the inside has a much more micro view of a scene. So, yeah, I mean, thank God, you know, you remember he came to us later on.
Yes.
And we didn't really go defensive. We transition.
I don't know what the fuck happened.
Transitional is what they're calling it now.
Oh, is that what they're calling it now? We were calling it bullshit then.
Yeah. So basically, they pulled us out. We reassessed what we had, and then we sent people back in. So we kind of let me get that wrong. I'm drinking, but anyway. Yeah. Remember somebody got in trouble on that fire because they refused to go back in. You know, the cowardness showed through.
To go back in, they wanted some companies that had, because we were on our third bottle.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
And there were some people there that hadn't been in once. And when he came over to us and was like, "Are you ready?" I'll never forget. He looked at me and I went, "Yeah." And you went, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, "What am I going to tell him? No?" Like, I'm not telling a Major no.
I remember looking at you and went, "God
either.
Damn." I was like, "Man, fuck it. I guess if you stand up, I'll stand up. We'll fucking go together."
I mean, dude, I was fucking dead tired.
Remember you lost you lost your helmet on that fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. We pretty much fought that whole fire. You didn't have a helmet on the whole time.
Yeah. No, fuck it. They don't need it.
Oh, and then remember the fucking hose burst in the stairwell?
That's where I lost my helmet.
Yeah, and it hit you in the head, and I jumped on the nozzle, and Artie the whole time, our captain at the time, was like, "What the fuck were y'all doing?" He saw you fumbling around trying to find your helmet, and he saw me diving for a line, try to hold it down so it didn't bust nobody in the face.
Yeah, the nozzle busted, and the hose busted, and the nozzle came up, smacked me in the fucking face, knocked my mask off, knocked my fucking helmet off. And I did have it strapped, but it still knocked it off. Yeah, it was a fucking shit show. And that was the third time we'd been in.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it was a fucking shit show.
Good times. Yeah, you don't have time to be emotional.
No, you don't. You really don't.
You have to be action-based.
So, I want to get to one of the questions here. Do you guys have special training dealing with emotional families at fire scenes? No. We have no special training. We try to be as compassionate as we can. It's hard sometimes when a structure is unsafe and it looks like there are rooms that are, people are able to get in and get their belongings. What we try to tell people is you can't go in. We will get your belongings. If there is something specific you want us to look for, please tell us. Dude, I've looked for cell phones, shoes, medications. I mean, like, I've done all that shit. And it's very hard to tell people, hey, you can't go in there. You know what I mean? And it's their shit. And but it's again, risk assessment, right? Can't have you go in there, fall on something collapse. I mean, then what the fuck are we doing? We're the professionals. You know what I mean? Like, and there are some times where a structure's sound. It was one room of fire in an apartment, but there's water damage everywhere, right? Especially the lower floors. We let those people go in there and get their shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's little risk to them. We'll go if you want us to. But if you want to get your own shit, then, get your own shit.
Yeah, and I assume he's talking about a more extreme situation where, it's like somebody's family member's missing. They know they're in the house and they're frantic. We remember the fire we made. I believe it was on Slevin or Garfield or something like that.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. there's a, I don't even want to, well, there's some stories here. There's several stories here, but I'll stick to the point. We had gotten somebody out, and they had some, I believe, they had some kind of mental handicapped, right? And the mother had the kid, I say a kid, he was probably 20 some years old.
Yeah,
based
he
on
was.
what we seen afterwards. We got him out. He was secured. Everything was cool. And the kid freaked out and ran back in, wound up perishing in this fire.
He died. Yeah.
Yeah, which was, I mean, that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing for a mom to watch. And, I learned a good lesson from there that I actually pass on to a lot of classes I teach, that, when we get somebody out like that, if we that kind of stuff, we need to assign somebody to that person, because, that kid, I imagine in his mind, there's all this, frantic stuff going on, and he's trying to get to a place that was safe, and his world is inside that house, even though that house is on fire. That's all he knows. I don't know what was going on in the kid's head or the guy's head.
Well, from what we ended up finding out from the mom was, so he ended up going out the back door, I believe, because that was the only way he could go, because the whole front of the fucking place was on fire.
Yeah.
And he was always forbidden to go out the back door. And I don't mean to be mean when I say this, so please don't take it that way, but I'm trying to equate it. It's like a dog. So if you tell a dog, my dog's never allowed out my fucking front door. She knows. When I open the front door, because the road's right there, I don't want her getting hit, blah, blah, blah. She knows not to fucking go out that front door. She always goes out the back. So what happened was, when he went out that door that he knew he wasn't supposed to go out of, it was fucking him up, and he felt like he was being bad and wrong, and that's the reason he ran back in the house. It's a fucking tragic story.
Yeah, it sucks,
it really
man.
is. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
It was actually Brian Cox's first day on a fucking engine.
Well, I'm not gonna tell that story, but yeah, I remember.
Yeah, no.
What was he driving? Was he driving engine 2?
No, it's 6. He was in engine 6.
Okay, so he was driving engine 6. So that's the pumper that went rolling down the road, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
fire.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the same fire, right?
I'm the one that had, because I went to water.
That was on truck 4.
I had to run and jump in
brake
and hit the parking brake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fucking shit.
Yeah,
show.
Moran. Yeah, you're right. That's the word I was looking for. Was autistic. He was an autistic.
Yeah, there was some. Yeah.
He had autism.
Basically, he was he had the mind of a 10-year-old and a fucking 23-year-old.
There could have, we never, I mean, people think that, they ask us questions all the time. We never get the whole story on scenes. We see what we see, we clean it up, we leave. We never know the whole, we just don't.
Debo's question, he said, have you ever had to physically hold back from somebody entering a structure? And yeah, I remember there was a fatality. This house was rolling. It was actually on 42nd, might have been Vermont. And, Josh, I don't remember. I think you were at Sixes with me at this time, but it was a sister that showed up. This house, I mean, we went defensive as soon as we got there. When I say defensive, I mean there was no interior attack. It's gone. Everything's a fucking loss. We're just trying to keep it from extending to other houses at this point. And a sister showed up, and I this is going to sound bad, but this is how I remember it. She was very attractive, black lady. She gets out and she's fucking screaming, and she's trying to run. I think she's going to run in the fucking house. And I remember grabbing her, and she's trying to elbow me. And I remember taking her to the fucking ground. I was trying not to hurt her. And then some other guys came and can help me, kind of restrain her. And she's just, it was fucking heart wrenching, I'm no, if your sister was in there, she's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you say special training, no, and maybe there should be. That's a great question, actually, because, we pull people out that are burnt to a crisp, and I'll never forget the Bellarmine coach that we made. Bellarmine's a college here that is influential.
Watch what you say.
What's that?
So watch what you say.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a great school. It's fucking high dollar. He was the golf coach. It was an apartment fire. We brought him out, and he basically laid in the fucking yard with a fucking sheet over him while everybody from the other apartment complexes are coming out passing him. And I just remember thinking, this is the worst thing. Like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think that, you know, and we're laser focused on the job, right?
Yeah.
There's still an active fire.
Yeah.
But, you know, there still should be mitigating circumstances.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, we still have a job to do, and that may seem like not a whole lot of compassion there, but that wasn't part of our job. You know what I mean? I mean, that stuff happens. Right. The story that I thought of, not to keep telling a bunch of fire stories, but we made a fire. I think it was right off Market. Can't remember which street. 30 whatever something. The guy that was tied to the chair. Remember, he was tied to the chair and he beat to death, and I think even had been shot or
before
stabbed.
The fire.
Yeah, it was the most bizarre, and we don't have training, in this kind of stuff, and it may come off as unemotional or cold or whatever, but we don't know. There could be somebody else in there, so it's like, get this person out, this body out, whatever, and transfer them
and go to work.
Transfer them to some other care, hopefully medical or whatever, and then go back to our job. It's important for us to go back to that job because we know where we searched last.
Right.
So we know where to pick up that search.
That's right.
Whereas if you were to assign another crew to do that, they may be wasting time by searching an area that has already been searched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that part, when we pull somebody out, we don't have time to like take a knee and start giving, breath and stuff like that. I mean, it happens. Somebody else is doing that. But that particular fire was kind of like the one you're talking about, where it's like, what are we doing here? This doesn't look right. Like, this dude's just laying here. We probably need to do something, and show a little bit.
I'll never forget when the news came, later on. The fire was out and everything, and this dude's still in the fucking front yard. Hands bound behind his back. He's burnt to a crisp. The news came. Now, and we came in with him as a firefighter. He was the district chief on that fire. I won't say his name, but you know who it is.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey guys, y'all need to get him out of the front yard, take him around the side." And I was like, "What? Like, have you ever picked up a fucking body that burnt, man? They don't fucking travel well. Like, his arm's liable to fucking come off, and we ended up sheeting him and scooting him around the side, but But to Debo's point, there may be some more, and again, I feel like the Louisville Fire Department, tactically, I think we're good. I think we're really, 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 really good.
Best.
The best.
I talked to a lot of other fire departments.
Yeah.
And I think that our tactics, the way that we're set up as far as crews and as far as responsibilities,
and like, just,
there's not a better way to fucking do it.
Well, in organizing, which we call fire scenes, organized chaos, because that's what it fucking is. Like, you got all these people fucking running around. Everybody kind of knows their job. And even when a job's not getting done, if you got a good crews on the scene, they pick up the slack. So it's organized chaos. But what I will say is, tactically, yes, Josh, I totally agree. We're the fucking best. Everywhere else, we're not. And what I mean by that is, if you ask a captain on the fire department, or a district chief for that matter, when's the last time you had a management course on managing people or instructing people? I'd love to know their fucking answer. It's nil or not at all. Okay?
Yeah, you're talking about leadership development.
I'm talking about leadership development, which these are managers of fucking people, but the fire department doesn't teach that. We are tactically the best, and we train that way. All the nuances that come with men and leading a group of men and being in that type of environment, they don't do it at all. They don't teach it at all. And you've got some guys, this is how our department works. It's 2 years on the fire department, you can be a sergeant. 2 years as a sergeant, you can be a fucking captain. 2 years of being a captain, you can take a fucking district chief's exam. So, I mean, we call them 10-year wonder boys. You know what I mean? And Josh and I came in with some of these guys, and it showed. Like, it really fucking showed. Like, they didn't have the experience. They didn't have the mental fortitude. They didn't have the maturity to be in that type of fucking position. But now, let's just say that we had a training process for these guys, for these people. Then maybe. You know, because some of these guys were fucking uber smart. Some of these guys reminded me of what we just went through on our list, Josh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think,
on the far extreme.
I'm thinking of maybe the same guy. But he had no fucking training. So he was a fucking douchebag his whole fucking career. But he could have been better. He might have been great. But he had no one to ever fucking teach him. He was never in the first district. Okay, which, again, I come back to that because I think that it's the best.
Yeah, I mean, your leadership development, like in not only our department, I mean, it's across the nation, and I think the military as well. I mean, I think a few years back, they realized that, you know, and had to revamp their entire leadership program. And I can't remember which branch it was. I think it was the Marine Corps. But anyway, your leadership development in the fire service is pretty much dependent on who you surround yourself with and where you're assigned at.
Exactly.
What books you read, how self-taught you are, that's pretty much it. I mean, and that's unfortunate.
Tough.
It's unfortunate, but I think it's kind of a chronic thing in jobs where people, you know, where it's like, hey, I need you to do this, go do it. You know, it's like, I don't have to know what kind of a fucking learner you are, what your personality is, and just go do the fucking job that I tell you to do. You know what I mean? So we take the human element out of it and make it all about skills and tactics, you know, whereas there's anybody that's lived in a firehouse knows that there is a much greater human element than there is skills and tactics. You know, when you're living with 4 or 5 other guys for a third of your life, you have to be pretty fucking good at managing people, or there's going to be problems.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I feel like if you know, we do these, what they call critical assessments, strengths and weaknesses of the fucking fire department, you know, that was always, I had one. I don't need to give you 10. I'm going to give you fucking 1. And that is leadership development. And because you don't have any of it, none of y'all have any of it. You can't tell me the last time you went to a fucking class that taught you how to talk to people, how to make you buy in to your system, like a basketball coach, a football coach would. Like every coach that comes into an organization, Josh, I know you just got to bear with me on this. I know you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Sports, yeah, I'll be back. I got pee.
Yeah, you check out. You think about something else for a minute. But like, so for me to be a successful coach and for you to buy into my philosophy, I have to sell that to you. I have to tell you what that is, and you have to fucking believe in it so I get your 100% so we can all achieve this vision, okay? I want to get to Sam's comments. I think it's worth mentioning. Most management training are geared toward white-collar style jobs. Might not translate well to our system. Thoughts? I think I know what he's saying here. You know, I agree, Sam, but like even the military, their management style, it still transverses into the civilian style. I mean, there's several veterans that are doing well in their own businesses because of their style, their philosophy. So it translates. I'm not talking about getting a UPSer to come here. I don't know if that would translate as well, but, you know, maybe somebody from special operations or somebody from, you know, the military, just to come in and talk about, like, they understand our dynamic. And that's what it is, right? You know, the fire department is a different dynamic. So you need somebody that is versed in that dynamic to come in and give a training course so it can be relatable. You see what I'm saying? Sam, you tell me what you think.
Yeah, and I mean, that's great, you know, bringing somebody in from the outside, but we need people within our ranks that we have bled and sweat with that we trust. You know what I mean? I mean, it would take a while to cultivate that, but I mean, we've worked with people that are really good leaders, but had no official leadership, training. And I think, we're moving into off the topic a little bit, but leadership, yeah. I mean, I've worked with some of the best captains I've had have been people that have included their crew in the decision making, but yet was pretty much what they wanted to get done anyway, but they made you kind of a part of the decision. So you felt invested, you were vested in the decision. So you were all in, like you said.
Sure. Okay. So, and I'm not a fan of his, and I'm not, but like, say Jocko comes to the fucking Louisville Fire Department to give a fucking leadership course. 50% of the fucking people that take that class may not know who the fuck Jocko is. Do you think that he's not going to fucking translate? Do you think that these people aren't going to find out what, take what he says and try to apply it? Like, it's going to make sense. He's an engaging speaker, and he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He has credentials. They don't know him. They have no fucking idea who this guy is. You know what I mean? But it's still going to fucking translate into what we do. Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why can't the fucking Louisville Fire Department get fucking Jocko or Tim Kennedy or Mike Glover to fucking come and speak?
98% of our budget goes to salary.
Well, yeah, I know. We'll do better on your fucking budget.
Yeah. Hey, Jocko, if you're listening, which I'm sure you ain't, lower your prices there at Echelon Front, and we'll hire you to come out and talk.
Well,
until then, hey, you got
Jocko.
Until Jocko shows up, they have us.
Somebody. Yeah, right. Somebody that it doesn't have to be. Like Jason said, we're supposed to be paramilitary. So, I think the military standpoint, it translates well to us because of our structure, our command structure and everything. I just think it transfers well. But, I don't know. I hate that we have some of the best guys, and like Josh said, self-taught, just self-improvers. They didn't need any fucking training. They're fantastic. But I also see a lot of guys that have that potential. Like, I really see it in them, man. And it's either that self-doubt that they have in themselves or just lack of experience that they may never get because of where they're positioned and where they're stationed. But if there was a training module, a training program, what's the fire department like to use? What term do they like to use, Josh? Subordinate development?
Oh, yeah.
Which is the worst fucking term ever.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I get it.
I don't like it either, but it's still in that wheelhouse of what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, just think about, if we had all of our leaders, structured under the same regiment as far as, if there's a book reading list that all of your, leaders read, like the Marine Corps, Jason's on here, and I think each rank has a, required reading list of books. Yeah. And I'm a big, we love reading. So, I think that's important, but then they also keep everybody on the same page. So they all have the same, core, to speak. Sure. I'm blanking on the word that I'm trying to use, but they basically all have the same beliefs in what they're coming up in. So they're all universally trained the same. And then, once you have that, then each individual can kind of break out into their own style.
So if you ever get a chance, research Desert One. Desert One was kind of the birthplace of the Delta groups. I won't get into it because I want to wrap this up. But what happened is after Desert One was a huge failure for Special Forces. It was fucking massive. Like, there was a loss of life, a lot of loss of life actually. And what happened was you had different pilots, different aircraft, and you're transporting Special Forces, and bottom line is no one had ever trained together. No one had ever did any of this stuff. So after Desert One, it all changed.
Weren't they going to rescue some?
Yeah, the Iran, not the Iran Contra, but the hostages from Billy Carter's administration.
Yeah. Okay.
And so after that, like, and normally they would have went back a few days later after some of the mishaps. But because there was a helicopter crash into a C-130, there was more loss of life, they said, fuck it, we ain't going back. But what happened after that, okay, massive failure. Okay, this is alpha as fuck, by the way. Massive fucking failure. Like, maybe a lot of organizations don't recover from this. The special forces were better. They became better because of this. And this is what the guys will say. This is how we honor them. This is how we honor that loss of life. We are fucking better, and we will never make those fucking mistakes that we made back then. Okay? So they all train together now. Pilots, everybody in that soft organization, they all train together. When they're mission specific, they all fucking train together. There's no guy coming from the outside. He's been training with these guys. He knows what goes down, from pilots to logistics to everybody. So that's, that's what I would want for the fucking fire department is, we all train the fucking same way. Everybody has leadership, from fucking majors to colonels to fucking firefighters. Like, it's not position specific, actually. Okay, because Josh, I mean, you were senior private for a long time, and I was as well. I could have benefited from some of that leadership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some of that falls to us too, is just being senior guys.
Yeah, I mean, I still could. I mean, I'm not a leader in any sense of the word. I mean, I'm just a sergeant on the fire department. I mean, so I could still benefit from
absolutely
guys, and
fucking absolutely.
So
all right, guys. I mean, one of the fucking goals for this show was to be at 55 minutes, 60 minutes, and we fucked that all up. But I do feel like the conversation drove us to this time. And I appreciate it. I love the chat. You guys were asking great questions, and I love how you guys interact with yourselves. I mean, that's fantastic. Josh, you want to close us out?
Wow, you always hit me with this shit. Yeah, well, hey, Travis told me, hey man, you need a closing. I don't have like a universal closing that's gonna like I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say every time. I mean, basically what we're talking about here, when we talked about virtues, before we talked about courage, we talked about honor. We're talking about the mean, between the two extremes. So like with courage, we're talking about, being, taking too many risks and being a coward. So there's a mean in between there, a middle ground, and all these things that we talked about tonight, there's a middle ground to all of them. So try to find that middle ground in all of these attributes so that you don't turn into a douche, or a coward.
Right.
I mean, strive to try to find the middle ground. Sometimes you have to push, a little bit further into an extreme to get something done. But find out what the parameters are. Just like when you study your SOPs, you need to know what the box is that you're working in, so that when you have to work outside the box, you're going to have a good fucking explanation of why. That's right. That's all I got. I don't know.
Good, man. That's good, man. That's good.
Thanks,
shit.
buddy. Thanks.
That's real good shit. Guys, I'm gonna go back to something I said earlier. And mine's not universal. I used to have a universal one, but this show makes me. I tell you, man. Like, honestly, this show makes me think. You know what I mean? Like, when we researching topics and everything, man, I'm thinking. And if sometimes I come off as scatterbrained, it's because I'm fucking thinking about so many different things about this topic that we're talking about. I think it's fucking important. I think this show motivates me. I don't know what it does for you guys. I hope it does, but it motivates me, like, to be better. And that's what I fucking want, man. I want all you guys to be better. And so if we can spark a conversation to get you thinking about something, then that is our goal. That will make us happier than fucking anything. I don't need a fucking sponsor. I don't need any of that shit. What I want is, and what I need, and Josh, I feel he feels the same way, is that feedback that, man, you guys made me fucking think about something today. And that's it. It don't have to be you think like we think. Jesus Christ, I hope that's not it. But I want this show to be portable. I want it to be unpackable. I want us to talk about things here that you go out in your real life and you go to your real job, or you are in a relationship with a friend, a girlfriend, wife, what the fuck ever, and something sparks an idea in your head and you act upon it. And it has positive results for you. That's what I want. Okay, like us talking about the Dr. Seuss books. Josh and I kind of had a different view until we started researching it. And then we're like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? And it's thought. Don't be triggered. Okay? Develop a mindset, a calm mindset where you can intelligently think about the topic and not be triggered by emotion and not react by emotion. I'm emotional. Josh is emotional. Like, you can't tell Josh is emotional because he looks like he's asleep right now, but he's emotional. I know the man. Okay. We get emotional, especially about things we believe about. So that's what I would say to you guys is, think about these things that we talk about, and you guys are talking about it with us. And man, I cannot fucking tell you how much I love that. I love this chat. I love that you guys interact with each other. I love you guys interact with us. That's what I love the most. And I think Josh does too. Josh, you like to chat, don't you, man?
I'm getting used to it. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to follow.
It's
tough to stay on topic and listen to you and read.
Yeah,
but hey,
listen to me.
We all got problems.
Well,
because then you fucking hit me with a question, and I'm like, oh, shit. What'd you say?
Yeah. What?
No.
Well, like earlier, you were like, man, I think I was thinking about something.
Yeah. I like the chat. I like it quite a bit. Actually.
Yeah, man.
More than I thought I would.
It's the conversation. It's you and I are having a conversation with these people over here that have joined in, that have invested your time. And don't think we don't realize that, guys. I mean, we're almost at fucking 2 hours, and some of y'all been here the whole time. I can't tell you how that makes my fucking soul smile. It really does, because I feel like we are saying something that you're thinking about or that you like. And that's amazing to me. And it's amazing to Josh too. So thank you guys so much. And Debo is fucking the best hype man in all of fucking live streaming. Has linked all of our social media in the chat. Please, if you would, guys, hit those links. And if you know somebody you think might like this content, maybe they're a firefighter, maybe they work EMS, maybe they're a cop, maybe they're ex-military, maybe it's somebody you think needs to get the fucking message, hit them with one of those links, man. I am doing some stuff. I'm trying to get Josh to do some stuff, some extra stuff on these social media sites. I know I had Josh, I don't even know if I told you this. I did intuition versus knowledge talk the other day. It was a live chat on Sunday. It was just something I was thinking about. I kind of put some thoughts together, and I had a great reaction, and people were asking questions. It was really, really good. So follow these social media links for that type of extra content, guys. And yes, Jason, you fucking silence your bitch voice. When that voice tells you can't fucking do something, man, you fucking silence it, because you can. You guys, I'm telling you, man, the fucking world is your oyster. You can do fucking anything you want to. You don't let anybody fucking tell you can't, because you can. You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you, Mike. Great conversation, guys. Till next time, thank you so much. Guys, we will be back next week. Josh, Wednesday?
Here you go again. I don't know. Let me look. But while I'm looking this up, send us some ideas. That's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, is it? Yeah, that can't happen.
Send us ideas for the show, man.
St. Patrick's Day's not Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
Is it?
Yeah,
17th.
Yeah, 17th. Yeah. St. Patrick's Day.
Then. Okay. Yeah. Well, so
and then 16th is P1, so we're probably looking at either Monday or
okay,
not at all.
Okay. Okay. So guys, again, follow. Nah, Jay, you didn't miss the memo. Hit the social media links for our next show. I know I put some stuff out today on Instagram and Facebook on when we would be live. So, and if you hit that notification button on Twitch or Facebook, you're going to get a notification every time we go live on your phone. So, again, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the feedback. And like Josh said, if you have any kind of topics you want us to talk about, give them to us. They don't have to be alpha related. We'll talk about fucking anything you guys want to talk about because you're why we do this. You know, you're our listeners. So please, please, please give us your feedback. Give us your topics. With that, guys, hey, man, have a fucking great week. Be safe and always remember, be alpha. Peace.
I thought you was going to say knowing's half the battle.
Well, it is.
Yeah. All right.